A journalist uncovers a city that doesn't exist on any map, where societies forgotten thrive in secrecy. But when a powerful, crooked politician fears exposure, the city's survival hangs in the balance. Will justice prevail, or will the hidden city remain a ghost forever? David had been a journalist for nearly a decade, but nothing prepared him for the email that would change everything. It arrived at 11:47 p.m., just as he was shutting his laptop in his small Nyandaro apartment. The subject line was strange. "You're looking in the wrong places." The message itself was even stranger. "You think you're investigating corruption? You haven't even scratched the surface. Come alone. Midnight, Kawanguru bus stop." There was no name, no signature, just that one instruction. David had spent months investigating a massive government scandal, millions of shillings missing, fake projects, politicians getting richer overnight. But this was something else. Against his better judgment, he grabbed his notepad, phone, and voice recorder and left his apartment. The Kawanguru bus stop was nearly deserted at this hour. A few boda riders lingered, smoking and chatting quietly, but otherwise, the streets were empty. Then, a man in a hooded jacket stepped out of the shadows. "You really want the truth?" the man whispered. David hesitated. He had met all kinds of sources, whistleblowers, disgruntled employees, even criminals. But something about this man felt different. "Follow me," the hooded man said, turning into a dark alleyway. David followed, heart pounding. They walked past run-down buildings, past rusting gates, past streets David had never noticed before. Then, the man stopped in front of a graffiti-covered wall. He tapped 3 times. Thud, thud, thud. To David's shock, a section of the wall shifted open, revealing a hidden passageway. "Welcome to the place that doesn't exist," the man said, stepping inside. David followed, and just like that, he stepped into the unknown. What he saw stole his breath. Beyond the secret door was a hidden community. Narrow alleys lined with houses, market stalls bustling with people, men and women going about their lives. But something was off. There were no cell phones. No one was taking pictures. The language they spoke, it wasn't Kiswahili, English, or any known dialect. David's journalist instincts kicked in. He needed proof. He reached for his phone to snap a photo. But a hand grabbed his wrist. It was a woman, her deep brown eyes burning with warning. "No cameras, no recordings. If you want to live, you will forget what you see here." David stared at her. "Who are you people?" he asked. She took a deep breath. "We are the forgotten ones, the ones your government erased." The woman introduced herself as Aisha. She led David into a small, dimly lit house where 3 other people sat around a wooden table. "Before you ask questions," she said, pouring him a cup of hot chai, "listen." David did, and what he heard shook him to his core. The hidden city had been built decades ago. It was a sanctuary for activists, whistleblowers, journalists, and dissidents, people who had challenged corruption and paid the price. David's head spun. But how is this place hidden? How has no one found it? Aisha smiled sadly. "You think no one knows? The government knows. The police know. They just pretend we don't exist. Because as long as we stay silent, they can continue their business." David clenched his fists. He had spent years fighting to expose corruption, believing the truth could make a difference. But what if the truth was already known, and no one cared? Aisha hesitated, then said, "Walk around before you leave. Talk to people. We are all friendly here, though scared. And one more thing," she added, "I know you are a good journalist. I know you can get to the bottom of things. Please help us, but be very careful. I would not want you to become a neighbor here." With that, David left. As he walked through the alleys, speaking with its people, one name kept coming up. Aisha. She wasn't just the leader, she was the soul of the hidden city. David knew what he had to do. Back in his apartment, David went into investigative journalism mode. He had spent years exposing corruption, but nothing prepared him for what he found deep within the heart of Nyandaro, a city hidden from the world. It wasn't a slum. It wasn't an illegal settlement. It was something else entirely. A self-sufficient community where no one was homeless, no one begged, and no one starved. Here, society's forgotten, the poor, the falsely accused, the disabled, the outcasts, found refuge. The government had failed them, but a secret group of officials had built something extraordinary, a city where dignity was restored. Aisha hadn't always lived in the hidden city. Years ago, she had been wealthy, respected, a businesswoman. Then, one day, she lost everything. A powerful politician, Mr. Kisu, the mayor of Bongo County, had stolen from her millions in public funds meant for a housing project she managed. When she tried to fight back, her life was destroyed. She was falsely accused of fraud. Her accounts were frozen. Her home was seized. The media branded her a thief, and no one listened to her side of the story. She ended up on the streets, until she found the hidden city. Here, she rebuilt herself, not in wealth, but in purpose. She turned the city into a haven where no one would suffer like she did. But Mr. Kisu had just discovered she was alive, and he would do anything to keep her quiet. Kisu's power was built on lies. If people found out what he had done to Aisha, his career would be over. So he made a deal. He told the government officials behind the hidden city, "Your secret is safe, as long as no one uses cell phones. No photos, no videos, no evidence." Because if Aisha ever got her hands on a phone, she could expose everything. The hidden city would remain a ghost, a rumor, a place no one could prove existed. For years, the officials reluctantly obeyed. The city thrived, but under strict rules. No one was allowed to use modern technology. And Aisha? She knew the truth, but she kept silent for the sake of her people. David wasn't satisfied with silence. If the hidden city could be created in secret, why couldn't it exist openly? One night, he made a choice. He recorded everything, the faces of the people who lived there, the stories of those wrongfully accused, rejected, or abandoned. The truth about the politician who stole from Aisha, and he sent it to the world. In the morning, the video went viral. The country erupted in outrage. News stations exposed Kisu's crimes. Citizens demanded justice. The government could no longer pretend the hidden city didn't exist. Faced with public pressure, they had only one option. They acknowledged the city, and they built houses. For the first time, the people of the hidden city were no longer ghosts. They were citizens. And Aisha? She stood at the front of the movement, not as a victim, but as a leader. The hidden city was no longer hidden. It was home. Folktales connect us to our past, shape our present, and guide our future. African Folktales by Kavovi is more than just storytelling. It's a bridge between yesterday and tomorrow, between tradition and modernity. Subscribe now and be part of the journey. Like, comment, and share to help keep these stories alive. This is African Folktales by Kavovi, where the past speaks and the future listens.